What is going on, my friends? Lauren Sisler here with AL.com. Checking in with you as we cruise right into week 10 of the college football season. Auburn coming off a big win over Ole Miss at Jordan-Hare Stadium, 31-20. Into recap all things Auburn football. My buddy Tom Green, I know it's been a long weekend for you. A lot of these night games, I'm sure, have been bruising. The quick turnaround, I know some people don't quite understand, the amount of time that goes into your job when the game is all said and done. Tell them, what time did you end up going to bed this weekend?
3:30, and then didn't really fall asleep until like 4:30, and then woke up at 8:30 and started doing more work. So
Yep. So college football season is a grind, y'all. And we appreciate Tom for obviously giving us all the latest on everything. And so, yeah, let's talk about it. First and foremost, let me make sure I give our sponsors a shout out there. Keep Alabama Beautiful. Did I already say that? I don't know if I did, but Keep Alabama Beautiful. We appreciate you, Tom. We appreciate all your hard work. So let's talk about Bo Nix first and foremost. Bo Nix, this is a guy, he gets benched earlier in the season. He could have folded up tent, said, you know what, like, they don't believe in me. They don't trust in me. They don't have confidence. Like, what am I even doing here? And instead, he kind of went a different direction, and obviously has shown really since that LSU game when he was Mr. Houdini, that confidence, making better decisions, playing more fundamentally sound. And he even said since that game, he's gotten his confidence back. I've played with that mindset. He said, cut it loose. I've got nothing to lose. And so that's kind of what his thought process has been. What are your thoughts on Bo Nix then versus now?
I mean, I don't even know what there is to say about him at this point. I mean, he's like you said, major turnaround. Didn't pout or anything when he got benched. He just kind of took it in stride. And I don't think Bo has ever been challenged like that before this year. He was always the guy, whether it was in high school or whether it was his first couple years at Auburn. He was the guy. And really, when he was faced with some adversity here, it kind of just brought out the competitor in him. And we've seen him kind of take things to another level through the month of October, really. But especially these last two games, I think he's completed, north of 75% of his passes in back-to-back wins against top 25 opponents, has accounted for 6 total touchdowns, has made a lot of plays with his legs. He's been really accurate, really efficient. This past weekend, 23 of 30 passing for 276 yards, I believe, and 3 total touchdowns, 2 rushing, 1 passing. He just really seems like he's got a command of this offense and is really coming into his own and kind of taking the next step in his development. I think a lot of credit there goes to obviously Bo for sticking with it and kind of powering through that adversity earlier in the season. But the work that Brian Harsin and Mike Bobo have done with him has been really impressive. And, he seems like he's really at ease in this offense. This past weekend, he completed passes to 10 different players. The week before, it was 11 different receivers. And, he talked about it after the game, having that kind of not necessarily predictability or unpredictability rather, where you can just go to any one of these guys and, the defense can't really key in or take away 1 or 2 players, really opens things up for this offense and gives him more kind of weapons to work with. You look at his first 2 seasons, all of the targets were really concentrated on Seth Williams, Eli Stove, Anthony Schwartz. Now you're spreading around more. You're getting more guys involved. You're getting the tight ends involved. You're getting the running backs involved in the passing game. It just gives him more options to deal with, and I think that's been really helpful for him.
Yeah, definitely. And I just think really the offense as a whole coming in strong, the offensive line showing a lot of improvement, giving up very, very few quarterback pressures, very few sacks on the season, protecting the quarterback. And of course, I think, Bo Nix has just shown that ability to kind of get rid of the ball faster, just that confidence. And as you said, just distributing the ball where defenses just can't key in on them. What was it? 10 receivers. He completed passes to 10 receivers against Ole Miss. I think it was 11 against Arkansas. So, when you kind of break that down and his ability to get the ball out faster, but also extend plays with his feet when the pocket kind of breaks down, I think that's obviously been critical for him. Obviously the run game certainly showing some spark as well behind Tank Bigsby, 140 yards there against Ole Miss. So with that being said, let's talk about the defense. 2 guys making their return. Owen Pappoe, he was out for 4 weeks. TD Moultry out for 3 weeks. Pretty significant. And you talked about it in one of your posts there on AL.com. the juice that these guys bring back to this defense. Just your perspective, your lens on how critical and how good it is to get those kind of guys back in the lineup, especially heading into this next one against Texas A&M.
Oh yeah, I mean you're talking about two starter quality players. Owen Pappoe obviously has been a day one starter since his freshman year, kind of been a constant in the middle of that Auburn defense the last 3 seasons. Missed four games with a leg injury that he sustained against Penn State. And, just having him back is kind of like that leader. He's one of the co-captains of this team. So that certainly brings a boost to that defense. And then, TD Moultry missed the last 3 games. They got him back. I forgot which defensive player. I think it might have been Zakoby McClain afterwards, that it was a kind of a shock that they got him back. They felt like it was never going to come. But, TD Moultry, for, as much of an up and down career as he's had at Auburn, this has been his best season. Those first 4 games that he played in, he already set career highs in tackles, sacks, tackles for loss, and he's just been a really effective player off the edge for Auburn. So to get him back, to add to that group of, guys up front with, Colby Wooden, Derek Hall, Eku Leota, those are all guys that have stepped up this season. So adding another part to that pass rush just, brings a little bit more oomph to that defense. And, I think they certainly got an emotional boost. Those guys, I think they totaled 7 tackles between the 2 of them, but look at that defensive effort that Auburn had overall against Ole Miss. This is one of the highest scoring teams in the country, held them to 20 points, which is their lowest total since Lane Kiffin got there. They were 1 of 4 on 4th downs for a team that led the country in 4th down conversions and 4th down attempts coming into the game. They only scored on 4 of their 8 red zone trips. Those 4 failed trips, 3 4th down stops, and an interception in the end zone. Ole Miss had one of its worst rushing performances too. Matt Corral just wasn't as efficient. Obviously, he was playing on kind of that bum ankle there after the first quarter. But, credit goes to this Auburn defense, especially in the second half. When they needed stops, they got stops again and again and again, even when Auburn's offense was in a bit of a lull there. So, credit to this defense, credit to Derek Mason and his staff for their second half adjustments, and credit to Owen Pappoe and TD Moultry for kind of, like you said, bringing that juice to the defense.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's 2 back-to-back fourth quarter shutouts against Arkansas, now Ole Miss. And as you said, definitely kept Matt Corral in check throughout the night. Will be interesting to kind of see what happens with the ankle injury there. But, worst performance of the season, 56.4% of his passes. That was his completion percentage. So lowest of the season, didn't throw a touchdown. So the pressure that this Auburn defense was able to put on Ole Miss was certainly good. So let's see how that translates when they go to College Station, home of the 12th man, for a 2:30 kickoff on CBS. Auburn coming in as a 6.5-point underdog in this one, and Texas A&M coming off a bye week. So, I think you have kind of a tale of 2 teams here. A team obviously in Auburn that is really hitting its stride, coming off an emotional win back home at Jordan-Hare Stadium, and then of course Texas A&M on the bye week. How do you foresee this one playing out, and what's going to be important for Auburn to do in terms of carrying that momentum with them into College Station?
Yeah, I was a little surprised when that line came out yesterday with Texas A&M favored by a touchdown. Obviously Texas A&M has that impressive win against Alabama earlier this season, but they lost to the same Arkansas team that Auburn beat by double figures. Auburn's coming off of back-to-back double-digit wins against ranked opponents. This team is really sorry. My dog's making some noises in the background. This team's real, like you said, hitting their stride right now. And this team's playing with a lot of confidence on both sides of the ball. And then you look at it, Auburn has not lost at Kyle Field since Texas A&M joined the SEC. So this is a team that has proven it can win on the road in those environments. This iteration of this team has been able to prove that this year too, with going to LSU, going to Arkansas, getting those 2 big wins there, hanging tough against Penn State on the road. So I don't think that they're going to be intimidated by the big crowd or anything at Kyle Field. I think it should be a really good game, but this is what you want if you're an Auburn fan. I know you're disappointed by the loss to Penn State. I know you're disappointed by the double-digit loss to Georgia, but you're heading into the final month of the season in control of your own path in the SEC West. It's still a very tough schedule ahead, ranked ranked Texas A&M on the road, a Mississippi State team that's got some good wins, trip to South Carolina team that beat you last year, and then that Iron Bowl against Alabama. But you are in position right now to set up a winner take all Iron Bowl for the third time in the last 5 years or whatever it is. That's what you want for Auburn fans. I think they're excited. I think this team recognizes the opportunity they have ahead of them, and I'm kind of eager to see how they come out on the road.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Definitely, we'll see what they can dial up. Again, Texas A&M, Auburn kicking off 2:30 Central Time on CBS, and it should be a fun one. Definitely looking forward to it. Tom, will you be making the trip there to College Station?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's a fun atmosphere, and I will say, I'm always in awe walking in that stadium. I mean, whether it's empty or it's completely at capacity, it's always just incredible. The hospitality is always great, and always appreciate their fans and how friendly they are. And I imagine much of the same. Regardless of who ends up winning the football game, it's always nice to kind of see their fans and how they react to things. So it'll be a fun one. Certainly looking forward to it. So travel safe, my friend. Thank you so much for all your hard work. And of course, we want to thank our sponsors once again. Keep Alabama beautiful. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful and safe week. We'll see you next time.